Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, June 10th. In our devotion for today, I want to continue with our series about blessings, justice, and injustice. We've been looking at different stories about how sometimes God's blessings lead God's people to doing horrendous things. Last Monday, we looked at the story of Abraham and Sarah, who had received a wonderful blessing, but then turned around and did an incredibly horrid injustice to someone else because, well, it wasn't enough for them. Today, we're going to look at a story about how a blessing comes out of someone being devoted towards justice. The story comes from Exodus chapter 1. And if you remember, the people of Israel had gone down to Egypt. They moved there because of a famine. And because of Joseph and all the wonderful things Joseph did, he was able to provide food for his father's family. If we flash forward many generations, about 400 years, we discover that the people have become prosperous and numerous. And because of that, the Egyptians put them into slavery. They saw how God was blessing them and they became afraid. And so they tried to oppress and put them into slavery, yet still the Hebrew people were numerous and prosperous. And so the Egyptian Pharaoh came up with this idea. I'm going to start killing, or having the Hebrew midwives kill all the firstborn sons. In the middle of this, there are two brave women. One is Shiphrah and one is Puah. Their names are often lost in history. They're the two midwives who, in chapter 1, verse 15, they're named, but they're often overlooked in this story. You see, there's this tremendous injustice going on, and it's because of fear upon the part of the Egyptians. God was blessing the Israelites, and it caused the Egyptians to become afraid. And so there's an injustice. These children are being killed, but two brave women, they're midwives, they stand up to this injustice and say, no, we're not going to be a part of it. In fact, we're going to act out against it. We're not going to allow innocent people to be killed, innocent little children. In fact, we're going to do whatever we can in order to protect them, including sacrificing our own lives. It's an incredible story. They're briefly mentioned. But God honored them, God blessed them, and God returned unto them some of what they were sacrificing. I bring this up because I want to point out that not every time someone is blessed does it lead to injustice. Actually, some people are able to take these blessings and they're able to help bring about justice. And that's what Shiphrah and Puah were doing. It's not incidental that they're also quite forgotten. It doesn't seem like their story is all that important because, they weren't bringing attention to themselves. And that's the big thing about blessings. And we're going to see this over and over and over again. If we take the blessings that God has given us and we think that they're meant for us, it leads to disaster. Our own spirit tends to be corrupted by this way of thinking, and we tend to pervert God's blessings. We think of them as rewards for good behavior, so they ought to be just lavished upon us. Self-centeredness takes over, and eventually we wind up taking advantage or hurting other people. But Shiphrah and Puah give us this example. They see injustice happening, and they stand up against it. They stand up for what is right. They cause problems. They get noticed. They're dragged before Pharaoh and they have to say, hey, we won't do what you want us to do. We are unable to do it. And God blesses them. God blesses them for standing up, for shouting, for rocking the boat, for not doing the things to be compliant to those who are in authority. It's a sobering thought for us today. When we think about ourselves, when we can get consumed with ourselves, our blessings often become weights, curses to us and the world around us. But when our eyes are not focused on our own lives, our own legacy, our own successes, our own development, when we are thinking about others, then God's blessings become a healing balm to the world around us. Let's remember that as we navigate these difficult waters that our society is going through. And so many people are struggling. So many people are trying to shout out just to be heard because of the injustices being done against them. Amen. Amen. Today is Wednesday, and that means we are continuing our collection drive. This month, we're collecting items and helps for Gigi's Playhouse. Every Wednesday, we're going to put 2 barrels outside of the main doors, door C, that's the south side doors underneath the overhang, There'll be 2 barrels there where you can put items that you are donating to Gigi's Playhouse. All day Wednesday, feel free to do that. We will check them and we will bring the items in and clean them and make sure that they're safe to give to Gigi's Playhouse. You can see a list of the things that they have requested on our Facebook page. Today is also Wednesday, so that means tonight we have our prayer meeting at 7 o'clock. Feel free to email me your prayer requests, pastor@alpinelutheran.com, or use our church app to send those prayer requests in. They will come to me and I will pray for you. Our whole community that gathers tonight will pray for you and for each other. In the meantime, take care and look in on those who are most vulnerable. Amen.